The first estate were the Catholic clergy, making up 1% of the population. The second estate were the rich nobles, making up 2% of the population. And the third estate were the poor commoners, who made up 97% of the population. These were the three social classes in France. The third estate paid all of the taxes because the first estate paid none. The French Revolution started with inspiration from the American Civil War. The French decided to revolt because of economic hardships, food shortages, and discontent over the nation's tax system and land policies. The Reign of Terror was a time of great violence during the French Revolution. During this time, people considered to be enemies of the revolution were publicly executed. This reign, instituted by the Committee of Public Safety under the leadership of Maximilien Robespierre. The Reign of Terror ended on July 27th, 1794, with Robespierre's removal from power and subsequent execution. The Directory was a new constitution passed in 1795. This was when Napoleon Bonaparte overtook the current French government. Normally, the king would be crowned by the current pope. By crowning himself, Napoleon showed that he wanted to break away from the church. During this battle, Great Britain was able to defeat the combined naval might of France and Spain. This allowed Great Britain to be the top naval power for over 100 years. The Sixth Coalition, made up of Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, and Sweden, declared war against Napoleon and exiled him to Elba, but he returned in 1850, and a Seventh Coalition was formed to defeat him. It was a conference held to decide how to defeat Napoleon, but later became a way to determine how power would be balanced throughout Europe. The revolution began in Great Britain. It began in Britain because of the agricultural revolution, massive population growth, plentiful natural resources, and vast supplies of markets for sale of goods. The textile industry was the first because of a series of technological advancements and in the 18th century that made the cottage industry insufficient. Water was a form of electricity used. Mills were built around vast streams to generate power. Steam was also a new form of electricity. The revolution was a chain reaction because new advancements changed how jobs were done. Transportation development came because of new forms of power and new ways of building infrastructure and machines. Transportation was important because it allowed people to move at a faster rate than ever before. No, the Industrial Revolution didn't end. With current technological advances, we see new industries rise and others taken over by machines. Nationalism is identification of one's own nation and support of its own interests, especially to the exclusion or detriment of the interest of other nations. The gradual power of nationalistic feelings, an army of nationalist rebels in southern Italy, and a liberal constitution. Three of the reasons are King Wilhelmberg I taking of the Russian throne, Otto von Bismarck being named the prime minister, and Prussia's expansion. The problems that nationalism can have in a multinational state are that groups feel as if they should be considered a different country and government. An example of this problem is in how World War I began. The traits are emphasized feelings emotions, and imagination as a source of knowledge. The art was meant to be photorealistic. The art captured what was really there and nothing more. This is a reaction to Romanticism because it showed that the world as it was and not as some sort of divine intervention or cause.